I'm born and raised in Albania. We were kids. I was 7 years old. We grew up a little bit tough. The Albania just came from communism to democracy. And we left the country to go to Greece for a couple of years and we returned. But when we returned, it was a civil war. Thank God nothing major happened to our family. You know, we were safe, but it wasn't a pleasant scenario to be. We weren't understanding much, but playing around with bullets, playing around, like being exposed to those things, it wasn't that safe for anyone, At the same time, that was my moment of happiness pretty much when I was making someone laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is good feeling. That's why I was trying to be always helpful with something.
It's tough that every day you wake up and not knowing what the hell's going to happen.
Exactly.
So welcome to another episode of Capable Beyond. This is your host, Eric Trinidad. And today was Enea Lapa.
Perfect.
There we go. I started following you due to your channel, like BJ Comedy. Actually, like I told you before, half of the shit that I post my stories is your stuff.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
But yeah, I brought you today, to talk about your journey, your mindset during all those years you've been doing Jiu Jitsu and your channel. And I want people to know like that side of you. All the fun and game is great, but like behind the scenes and what's going on.
The whole work.
You've been here 7 years.
7 years.
So what made you come down to Florida?
So I'm born and raised in Albania, and the last years when I was living there, around 25 years old, 26 years old, I was getting not what I really wanted in my life. I had a good job. I had like a good life pretty much, but I was missing something always. And I started trying to find a way how to get out from Albania. I tried a couple other countries, I tried for England and they denied.
Oh, wow.
And after I got very upset, of course, and I was very upset, and I was thinking of myself like, maybe this is my destiny. I'm going to stay here like for a long time. And my sister, she lives here in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And she told me, why don't you try for United States? And I was doubting. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll try it. I tried the first time. They denied again.
Yeah.
And pretty much I was like, okay, that's it.
Yeah,
but
2 in a row.
Yeah. And after the third time, I was with that mentality that I'm just going to try it. You never know. And that was the time that I got it.
Oh, awesome.
And as everybody knows, like an immigrant, first thing that you want to do is like to succeed in the country that you want to go. And the way that most of the Albanians do, they have pizzeria places or restaurants, like normal restaurants. Yeah. And that was my vision too. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start learning the business and that's it. But when I moved here, I was a little bit out of shape.
Okay.
And I'm like, I got to do something about that. I'm like 5'10" and I was pretty much like 185, yeah.
Okay.
And I started running. And during this period, I remember a friend of mine that he told me about Jiu Jitsu.
Okay.
And he told me like, Jiu Jitsu is the best martial art ever. You know how it works. Like who does Jiu Jitsu? Yeah. That's the conversation.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm going to give a try to this sport.
Okay.
But coming from another country that the economy is not that great, I was like, okay, I'm going to try. And when I went there, I find out the price and I'm like, are you crazy? Now I'm going to keep running.
You're not used to it.
Yeah, it was too much because I just started working and I didn't know about the economics really good in the beginning, the finances, how it works.
Okay.
But after it was very normal price. And when I moved, I was in Miami first.
Okay.
And when I moved up in Boynton, I searched BJJ near me. I found the Academy Excel Jiu Jitsu, where I train today. Okay. And I went there and I tried it and all my plan, it went through the window.
Just changed.
Changed everything.
So what made you change?
I'm like, if I wanted to do something I wanted to do something that I really love to do, like a passion. I know it's not going to be easy because I've seen a lot of people, they're trying to make it with something that they really love, but they don't see the side work of those things.
Yeah.
For example, like even if you have a restaurant, everybody see the boss like at the front door, smiling, welcome, but they don't know the stress that guy have, like for the cooks, the waiters, etc., everything.
Yeah, payroll, money coming in, coming out.
You are there all the time.
Yeah, you have to.
You do.
You have to.
And when I start training, I felt to that thing of problem solving and the ego destroying thing. And because back home, the mentality is a little bit tough, like a little bit of, like tough guys.
Yeah.
And when I went there, I'm like, okay, I got this guy. I can beat this guy up. And when I went inside of the mats, they would choke me like so many times. I'm like, I have two choices: to forget about this day, don't mention it again.
Yeah, right.
Or to learn this.
I mean, it's hard because, like you say, coming from a background where like you have to always like push through things and present like got this shit. So that went on. So what's going through your head at that moment?
I'm like, I was in shock pretty much. I was in shock. I'm like, damn, how they can beat me up like this? How is this possible?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, I'm not that weak or something. The guy is like lighter than me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But at that point, I'm like, okay, I see what it is. You have to stick with it, like to learn the technique and to learn how to suck at it. How to be a beginner.
And being okay, being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was sometimes, when you start jiu-jitsu and you are athletic, big guy, it's way easier. I mean, it's not that easy, but it is a little bit easier than the guy is like small.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to crush you.
Yep.
And this is like the worst way to start, but the best way how to remain there.
Okay.
So this is what happened. I stayed there. Day after day, I was thinking my way how to make jiu-jitsu part of my life and to do like a job and everything in my life.
So when you decided to do that, was that around your white belt, blue belt, or immediately when you went there?
It was pretty much when I realized that I really like the sport. It was pretty much like a couple months.
Okay.
After a couple months that I understand how it works and and I decide that I want to compete.
Okay.
After that, I'm like, okay, I really want to do it as a job.
Okay. Yeah, competing is amazing.
Excuse me.
At the feeling behind it, the adrenaline pumping through your veins. Like people say, yeah, it's being a mat and competing is the same. I agree to a certain point, but it's the way you react to it, especially coming up in the ranks, you doubt yourself all the time because, as you say, people are different. You might think, I got this guy because he's smaller than me. So you started competing at the white
belt.
2 stripes, 1 stripe, no stripes?
I think 2 stripes.
Okay.
I got destroyed. Yeah.
So we talked about your journey in jiu-jitsu, which is an amazing one. You have a channel on Instagram, it's BJ Comedy.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. What made you do that?
It started like a joke in the beginning.
Okay.
My girlfriend, she was like, those TikToks, they are very funny.
Yeah.
Why don't you try one? And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I posted the first one, and a lot of people from my academy, they were like, oh man, that was really funny.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, like, okay, this is a good thing to keep up because a lot of family, especially, they think that I'm funny.
I mean, you are funny.
And I want to take advantage of that.
Okay.
And at the same time, with something that I really love. So why don't you want to make a BJJ comedy?
Yeah.
Something funny for the daily things that we dealing at the academies, at the competitions, people struggling, explaining to the normal people about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So you mentioned your family. They think you're funny. So growing up, you were that kid always made jokes around other people.
Yeah.
You're kind of the I'm not saying the clown of the house, but you're that kid always making jokes.
So this happens for the serious part of this thing. It happens because we grew up a little bit tough because of back home when I was born, the Albania just came from communism to democracy.
Okay.
And we left the country to go to Greece.
Okay.
For a couple of years, and we returned. But when we returned, it was a civil war. Wow. And all the time, like people in my family, they were really serious. All of them, like I have a big family.
Okay.
Like 5 uncles, from my father's side, 4 aunts, and a lot of cousins. And everyone was really serious all the time. And there was my moment of happiness pretty much when I was making someone, laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is good feeling.
Yeah.
So, and this is how I start. Usually I'm not, I'm a little bit serious with people that I don't know.
Yeah. Cool.
But once I know the person, I'm going to start cracking jokes and stuff. So
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if I make fun of you, it means I like you.
Exactly. Same way.
So you think that on your early childhood, comedy was a way, you said you were in a civil war back home, right?
I mean, it was a civil war. Thank God nothing major happened to our family. We were safe. But it wasn't a pleasant scenario to be. So it took like a year pretty much.
Wow.
But after the things were getting better and better every year.
From my perspective, me being a combat vet and being the other side of it, it's tough that every day you wake up and not knowing what the hell's going to happen.
Exactly.
That must be really tough for you. Like, how you dealt with that?
Yeah, we were kids. I was 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
So we weren't understanding much, but playing around with bullets, playing around, being exposed to those things, it wasn't that safe for anyone. I know for a fact, my family, everyone was concerned about us. That's why they were serious all the time.
Yeah.
So at the same time, from the side of the jokes, that's why I was trying to be always helpful with something.
Yeah. Because even though you're a young kid, you understand, look, I can't change what's going on.
Exactly.
So might as well, let's deal with it a way that I'll be more productive.
Exactly.
And you're still being a kid. You play you didn't play with a basketball, you play with bullets. Yeah. But you still tried to be the happy kid that I think you described. So so that you grew up being the funny guy of the group. So how do you manage that between being like the BA comedy guy and between being an instructor and being a ref and just being just on a daily basis?
Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to draw lines about, especially when I'm teaching. I can crack a joke, like during teaching, yeah. But I'm trying to remain really serious and explain very well what I want to try to explain to the students. And even as a ref, I'm like way more serious than I have to be. Sometimes I see the videos or the pictures, I'm like really serious. But I always try to do my best on the things that I'm doing.
Okay.
So that's why I'm trying to divide. For example, if I'm going to teach, I'm going to be 100% of the teaching. If I'm going to make a video, like a funny content, I'm going to be there like for hours. those 15 seconds videos
Yeah.
that people think, oh, that's easy. You just go there.
Nope.
Takes so many
Yeah.
times. Like I go home and the ideas, they're like random. I'm just driving and boom, an idea.
Awesome.
And I'm recording it on the phone. I'm like, okay, this is the content, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And I go home and sometimes I don't even like the idea.
Yeah.
But I have to do it.
Okay.
I have to do it because it's the consistency of the page. You have to keep up for the people to see the content. And it takes me forever.
So you never had an issue with someone, because knowing how you are, who you are on social media, never had people just try to treat you the same guy as social media, or they don't, let me phrase it better. Being a ref and being an instructor, you have anyone approach you always with that joking manner? I understand that now you're a ref, now you're a professor, a teacher, so that's the role you are. Never had the issue people?
Not really. I have a lot of people recognizing me, especially in competitions, even as a ref. But as I said, like trying to keep my personality, for example, as a ref, like that stops kind of, because I've seen people, like, hey, and I'm like, I'm the ref here.
And not right. That's it.
I say hi. I'm not being, an asshole. I'm being nice to the people for sure. But most of the time, the people approach right.
Yeah. It was great. I think it's the way you carry yourself. You said you're trying to draw lines.
Yeah.
And all these personas that you have, which is still you. It's
for
just
sure.
that there's different roles at the time.
Yeah.
So now that back home, you dealt with humor. And how's that work now in the States where you're not really working, not playing with bullets anymore? So is it more like joyful, not something you had to do? Because
it's like once you start something and you get better and better.
Yeah.
And it's like part of your personality after. Because back then I couldn't even realize why I was doing the jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
But nowadays it comes naturally.
But you were a kid,
Yeah.
It's like you said, your family was stressed the fuck out because I don't blame them one bit.
Yeah.
So, you just wanted to be a kid.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you realize, man, I'm kind of funny. And you kept with it, and now you're doing pretty good social media. So if you had any advice for anyone out there who's starting, as an immigrant, or just somebody who's starting a business or any project, what would be your advice to them?
Discipline. Discipline, it was the hardest thing that I'm still trying to develop, the discipline, because it's the most important thing for everything, business, life. Because sometimes we like something, we get motivated, but it dies fast.
Yeah.
For example, let's get an example for the page. I start the page. It was all fun because I had the content ready and I'm like, okay, this is fun. People like it, this and that. But one moment it was like steady and I didn't have much ideas and I left it behind.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, should I grab it back to start again? Or should I let it? Is that mental conversation that you have in your head is like, maybe it's not worth it. Why I have to make fun of myself?
Yeah, I do that.
And it's after it gets, like worse and worse. I'm like, no, I'm going to delete the page at all.
Yeah.
And one beautiful day, I'm like, okay, I have to keep up with this. And I know it's not fun to do things that you are not ready to do.
Yeah.
For example, you wake up, you don't feel like doing a video. Like people, sometimes people think that being in front of a camera is so easy. Hey, how you doing, guys? Blah blah blah.
No.
First time that I tried to make a video, I hit the wall so hard with that because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the video. I put the camera And I went down front and I'm like,
You're thinking about it.
yeah. And it was so hard. It took me so long to get used to.
Yeah.
Still working on it.
Yeah.
But it's the consistency and the discipline that we were talking about. It's like you have to keep up. You either like it or not. Because back to the immigrant mentality, you don't have another choice.
Yep.
For example, in business, you come from another country, you don't have a backup plan.
No.
You don't. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to try this. If it doesn't work, I'm going back to this. You know, like, oh, I have my house or I have this other business. No. It's like you have to make it.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to jump from one thing to another when you have that plan B always. It's very safe to work with that.
Of course, comfortable.
It's the comfort.
Yeah.
That's why once you pick something that you like, you have to put everything on it. This is my opinion, my mentality.
Yeah. So I want to go back to something you said, because it was interesting. When your page took a moment that was kind of like plateau, what's going on in your life at that moment that made you like not care about it?
Mainly at the academy, as I said, you know, like I'm pretty much now full time. I'm going full time to the academy, like teaching, you know, the program of adults and kids, and I'm there all day pretty much. Yeah, you know, I'm a mad rat, and sometimes it was coming that idea, you know, like trying to keep up with jiu-jitsu, but only with competitions.
Got it.
And teaching.
It's a lot.
And that was the idea on my head that, making funny videos, you know, like, why? There was that mentality in my head that I'm like, maybe that is not going to help with me keeping up with the competitions and stuff.
Okay.
So, and at the same time, I knew that was like the comfort of the daily routine.
Yeah.
I missed one day, I missed a week, I missed 2 weeks. And after, how I was going to catch up with the videos. I'm like, I'm not doing anymore.
You felt it was kind of hard to juggle like life, which is something every single person could struggle at, like work, kids, responsibilities. And it's hard to, sometimes people put a pause on their dreams and on their goals because, well, I got to work today.
Exactly.
Well, I have to like feed my kid, which things are essential, but you got to take care of yourself. If you want to, like you said, I have to make it. It's like no choice for me. I can't fail.
Yeah.
So it's that mentality that you have. I think that now being where you're at, that's what helped you get there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Always. This is what, how you say it, like, this is what kept me until this day.
Yeah.
Like, always I have to wake up and to think about it like, okay, it could be comfortable, but this is what I really want.
Yeah.
No, I have to struggle to do all the things that I said in my head the day before, because everybody has these thoughts during the day. You drive and you're like, oh, I should go to the gym. You know, I have to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I have to read. I have to do my budget, to do this, to do that. Once you go home, you know, sometimes they go out of the window, everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, I'm going to do it tomorrow.
You get comfortable. You get in your PJs like, I'm done.
Yeah. And it's so hard to get back again.
Yeah.
So you have to snap and to be like, okay, why I'm lying to myself? You know, like it's me and myself conversation. I'm not telling you or someone else, you know, like, oh, I'm going to do this. Okay. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I fell short. Like I didn't have time or something. It's on myself.
No matter what's going on, I have a goal. It's going to be uncomfortable. I might be in a bad mood or something, but I can't afford to fail.
You have to do it.
You know, and people are afraid to fail. And I'm pretty sure, and I'm not in your shoes, but with that back in your head, like, I can't fail. I can't fail. I can't fail.
This is a big teaching of jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah.
starting jiu-jitsu, you have to learn how to be uncomfortable and to fail a lot of times to achieve, to come up again.
Yeah.
So failing in this point, it's like when you let yourself down. If you don't, and you tried, it didn't work. Okay, good. We're going to the next one, to the plan, to the next thing of the plan, to the same plan, always.
Yeah.
So
there's a saying that I might butcher it, but it's from General Patton. They said, I measure a man based upon how high he jumps when he's down. And that always resonated with me because your situation is worse, can be different than mine.
Yeah.
But the way we react to it, stress, the body doesn't know, like, oh, I'm broke today, or I don't have a date. They don't know that. The body doesn't react to it. It reacts to the way you're feeling. And like I said, that saying for me resonates because at times you get deeper and deeper and deeper. And you're like, I can't make it to the top. And you're a perfect example about that. You came from playing with bullets as a kid to now, being an instructor at your academy and a brown belt.
Brown belt, yes.
Yeah. And actually, I found a fun fact about you. That you were the first champion in your country.
Yeah.
As a brand new purple belt.
Blue belt, actually.
Blue belt. Even more impressive. That's impressive, man. And I'm so happy to able to meet you and
the same.
Talk to you. Like I said, the reason I ran into you is for your content, and I love the way you make fun of yourself. I'm the same way because I'm visually impaired, and I'll be like, hey, my bad, I didn't see that, and they don't get the point. Like, I didn't see it anyway.
Yeah.
But I find myself that if I do that, it reminds me of the fact that things are not that bad.
Exactly.
So that's why when I saw you, I was like, I like identify myself with you because I saw what you're doing, and your page is doing really good.
Thank you.
And like I said, 80% of the stuff that I share on my stories is your stuff.
Yeah, I always try to keep my page with daily stuff that we do in our academy, in our life.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do like outside things. It's pretty much how it works. It's like I could be at the class and I could catch something like which is funny. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be a funny video.
Which is good for your content because you're there every day.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But any future plans coming up?
Lately, I've been injured. I had like tendonitis and I've been out from competition for a while. But I'm planning to do Pan Americans on March. Maybe you too?
I'm planning.
Sure.
I think it's time. Right. So you plan to do Pans?
Could be something before Pans, just like a warm up, but that's the main goal for the moment.
Okay.
And mostly my vision is for the teaching the classes and getting better teaching.
Yep. So anything you want to put up there on your social media page, anything you want people to follow, I'll give you space for that.
Sure. Guys, follow BJJ Comedy for the struggle of jiu-jitsu lifestyle. And by the way, I brought you a gift.
Oh man, I'm going to wear that hat to class tomorrow.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I was telling a few guys that from the academy who follow you, that you were here. So you can't come to the house. Can't meet them. Okay, it's strictly business.
Tell them. Train jiu-jitsu, porra.
Yeah, right. But hey man, it was a great time having you here. I'm so happy I get to meet you like outside the Instagram realm, and pretty sure you'll be one of the guests to come back. So
for sure, yeah, it's gonna be a pleasure for me.
Another episode, people want to be on, and stay tuned for more content.
Thank you.